Hi, my name is Emma Key. I use she, her pronouns, and I completed my observation log from February the 7th to February 17th. And I think it's worth noting that I myself have a learning disability. Some examples from my log include pointing out and hearing some dated or offensive language regarding disability. I had a conversation with my grandma where she mentions her close friend's son and calls him special needs. And I just told her special needs, although it is what our education system uses, a lot of disabled people find that term to be patronizing or offensive, and you can just say disabled. Also, when I was killing some time studying in the library in between classes, I was on the 3rd floor, so conversation is permitted. There was a group of people studying behind me, and this person in this group called something he found unimpressive the R word, and I was kind of shocked because nobody in my circle, none of my peers use that word, and just to hear it used so casually and to hear it go uncorrected was a little bit jarring. Just a reminder that I might live in an echo chamber as well. Let's see, another example, my close friend uses a walker, and they have a class on the 2nd floor of teaching unit 2, and I was asking them how they get to the 2nd floor because as far as I know there's not an elevator, but there actually is an elevator. You just have to walk through a private room to access it, and to walk through that room you need like a passcode and 4-digit code. They have the code. They're kind of hoping it doesn't change so that they could access the elevator. I just think it's quite unfortunate that this elevator isn't open to the public, because even able-bodied people can benefit from using the elevator. Like if somebody overextends himself at the gym and when it wants to take it easy the next day and not use any stairs, that's just not an option for them. Another example, I was driving into the city with my sister. We were going to go get some food at this new place that I had never been to. And because I'm not very familiar with that part of the city, I was using my GPS, as one does. And I had to use the voice feature of the GPS, have it talk to me, tell me what streets I need to turn on, where I need to exit. And it interrupted our music multiple times. I could kind of feel my sister getting annoyed with it, and she asked me if I could turn it off. And instead of turning it off and making it harder for myself, I just told her that I like to keep the voice feature on because of my dyslexia and the stress of driving in an unfamiliar place. I just find it really hard to navigate the city using street signs alone. And she was very receptive to that. She just told me like, oh, I had never thought of that before. And the whole reason I was able to speak up about, needing this voice feature for my dyslexia was because of Chandy Kazi's TED Talk, My Learning Disability, A Love Story. It was assigned during week 1. She talks about being very embarrassed and ashamed of her learning disability. She couldn't admit it to herself. She couldn't admit it to her friends. But with time, she was very open about her learning disability, very open about what it entailed, what accommodations she used, and that kind of helped me be open with my sister about my accommodation, I guess. I have an ambulatory cane user in my class. Her name is Emma as well. And I didn't realize that she was an ambulatory cane user because, I'll just set the scene. My friend and I on one side of the class, we're talking about our cats and showing each other pictures of our cats. And she walked across the classroom to show us a picture of her new kitten without her cane. And I was a little bit shocked at first, but then I remembered ambulatory cane users exist, just as ambulatory wheelchair users exist, like the video that was assigned. And I thought about it a little bit more when I was writing it down in my log, but a very big population, a lot of elderly people are ambulatory cane users. So I don't know why I was shocked. Also, a piece of material from class that really helped me with this project and really helped me be more observant of some systemic ableism and of people with disability was it was from Disability Visibility by Alice Wong. It was the first story by Harriet McBride Johnson. She very briefly talks about how she has some set routes of ways to get around her hometown, Charleston, South Carolina, and these routes are very reliable. She can rely on being able to get around in her power chair, cross the street, and not run into construction or anything like that. And even though that's not really what her story is about, that really stuck with me and kind of helped me get in that mindset of wondering if the paths that I take in and around campus, every day, are these accommodating for a wheelchair user? And a lot of the times, no. They weren't even accommodating for people that use walkers or other mobility aids. There's a big dip on the right side of the library, and if it floods, it gets really muddy, and it would be very difficult to kind of push a wheelchair through there. And that's just one example, But yeah, this project, I think it was really important because once you're in that mindset of kind of picking up on systemic ableism, you don't leave it. I finished my log on February the 17th, and I still, every time I see something, I'm just a lot more conscious of the ableism around me, which is everywhere, because I also realize that buildings, streets, restaurants, shops, basketball stadiums aren't built for disabled people, and the world isn't built for disabled people, but I just feel a lot more conscious of it now. Overall, in conclusion, I am very grateful to have done this project. Now I'm more conscious of systemic ableism around me, and I'm a politically active person, so it does make me want to, fight for some change. I also love doing this project because I love learning, and I don't want to be an ignorant person, and I don't want to live in ignorant bliss. Thank you so much for your time.